Hello fellow 3D enthusiast, my name is Ian, and today I just wanted to show you real quick how I added a bit more life to this scene. So I'm working on an animation and it's got these palm trees in it, or whatever the heck these are. I kind of made up this plant because I don't really plants right now. So here's the problem. In the first pass of my animation, it looked fairly dead and they were just stiff as a board, and there was actually some wind on other elements in the scene, but these were just stiff and not really doing anything. So I added some animation to them. And it ends up looking like this, which is super weird looking up close, but from far away, it really adds a lot of life to the scene. So I want to show you how I did this real quick. So I just swapped to a new scene, and I have all these elements in the scene, so I'm just going to show you how I did it here. At first, I had a bunch of palm tree assets that I just kind of placed together. They were all one object, and then I decapitated them all by going into the object and selecting the trunk, and going L, and P and select separate by selection. So with that done, we just have the leaves on one object and we have a bunch of trunks in the other objects. And I really should have done that before I started placing them, but I didn't. So I just had to go through individually and select everyone and separate out the trunk. So once I selected all the leaves, I just hit Ctrl J, and I would recommend before you do that actually to save like a copy of all of your objects, just so that you can replace them if you want to, if you don't like the placement. So this is a step that comes after you figured out where you like them placed. But once you have all the leaves joined into one object like this, you can go to the modifiers, and what I did was I just went displace modifier and new texture, and then there's this little button over here that takes you to the textures properties. I just switched to clouds and got something fairly big, around the size of a 2. And I also actually turned up the influence of this a little bit. If we click this little screen, you can see the influence it has on it, and it's getting kind of crazy in here, so I might actually turn this back to like a 1.5, so it's kind of in the same area, or maybe just a 1 for now. Anyways, let's get an empty in here, so I'm going to go Shift A, add empty, and I'll just use a plane axis, grab it and move it over to where we can see it. Oh boy. So we're going to set our texture coordinates to be this empty. So I'm just going to go object and then go eyedropper, hit empty. And now if we grab this empty and move it around, you can see all the plants are waving. So that's pretty cool. If you zoom in, you can really see the windy effect going on. That's pretty nice. Now we just need to make it so that our empty is animated and then all the leaves will move. So I'm going to go move this up a little bit so we can see what we're doing. And I'm going to hit I and location. And this kind of depends on which direction you want your wind to move, but I'm going to get the graph editor up here real quick and go select the X location. So I want the wind to move in that direction, so I'm just going to grab the X location, make sure that's selected, and in the graph editor, I'm going to hit N. That will pop out this tab. And if we go to modifiers here, add modifier and generator, if you hit play on your animation, you can go like this, or I don't know, whatever your hotkey is. It looks like there's a heckin' tornado going on, which is kind of cool. We probably want that to be a little bit slower, so I'm going to take the slope here and just make it so that this red line is a lot more gradual. So like this or something. And now if you look at them, yeah, that's pretty nice. Now you can change your wind speed by changing the slope of this, which is this value down here. And you can also change like how much it affects it with the strength of your displacement modifier. So I just wanted to share that with you real quick because I just did it and I was like, oh, that works. If you found this helpful and you'd like to keep up to date on future tutorials, there's a link in the description that says free hydraulic kit bash elements. When you click that, it will actually sign you up for my email list, and I'll make sure the first thing I send you are a pack of free hydraulic kit bash elements for Blender. If you're working on something mechanical, these could help you out quite a bit. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Cheers!